With the NLCS knotted up at 2, the San Francisco Giants look to position themselves to potentially advance to the World Series today. We won games 3 and 4. We've got the momentum, but we've got to keep it going here in game 5 in San Francisco. And then we return to Atlanta for game 6. The home team has won all 4 games so far in this series, and while we're going to need to win at least one on the road, hopefully that trend can continue at least through game 5. So as I mentioned in the last episode, things went very well. We started the series down 2-0. We appeared to be in a lot of trouble. The offense really struggled through those first 2 games, but we really picked it up in the last episode. The offense was better, and the pitching was absolutely brilliant, at least for the most part. In game 3, we won 9-5, scoring 6 runs in the 6th inning. And we had a rough start from the all-star Aaron Savale. He let up 4 runs through 3 innings, but the bullpen shut the door. Robbie Ray in particular, who struggled back in game 2 with 3 scoreless innings, helping us get the win. The big difference for us was 17 hits in game 3, and we only struck out once. A far cry from game 1, where we had 3 hits and struck out 18 times. In game 4, the offense kind of struggled. Our only hit before the 7th inning was a home run by Stone Garrett. But again, it didn't matter. Kyle Harrison was that good. 7 scoreless, 3 hits, no walks, 7 punch-outs. Bullpen shut the door to tie the series at 2. So as we go into game 5, I want to still see more consistency from the offense. I'm still a little bit concerned with our hitting because we didn't really hit it well in game 4 up until the final 2 innings where we finally started to catch a little bit of the rhythm. And then even in game 3, we scored 6 runs in 1 inning. That's the only reason why we won. Pitching-wise, it'll be Logan Webb on the bump for game 5. As for game 6, it gets a little bit weird. We're going to have to figure out what route to go with because Webb, Savale, and Harrison will all be unavailable. So we're going to have to figure out what we do. But it'll certainly be helpful to see what happens in game 5 before making a decision. So let's get this show on the road. Hopefully not, but possibly the final game this season at Oracle Park. It'll be the final game in this series here in San Francisco, but we're certainly hoping that we'll be able to come back here for the World Series against either the Astros or the Rangers. But in order to do that, we got to win 2 of 3. We'll need to win at least 1 on the road, and winning this game would go a long way. We would be 5-0 at home in the postseason if we're able to win this game. So hopefully the fellas can get it done and take a 3-2 series lead and put ourselves 1 win away from advancing to the World Series. As we take a look at both lineups, 1-9. On the mound for the Giants is the ace, Logan Webb, who got the start in game 1, ultimately took the loss, but it really wasn't his fault. 7 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs, and we had to keep him in longer than normal because, well, we needed him in there to have a chance. The offense gave him no run support, and hopefully that'll change today. The Braves mixing up the lineup with Ozzie Albies hitting at the 1 spot, and he chases the sinker. Albies' postseason average before that at bat, .069. Nice, but honestly, that's a better choice than Christian Bethancourt, who's been their leadoff hitter over the last few games. Orlando Arcia rips this one into left, and that'll go for a base knock. So Atlanta gets their first base runner of the night for the middle of the order. We'll see if these superstars can potentially look to drive them in, and that'll start with the former National League MVP, Ronald Acuna, who goes down to the fastball right down the middle. That was his pitch. It was mislocated, but it doesn't matter. Matt Olson now, 2-2. Swing and a miss on the inside slider. Logan Webb strikes out 3 and gets through the first inning, only letting up 1 base runner as we go to the bottom half of the frame. And we take a look at Huascar Ynoa, who's going to get the start for Atlanta. The 5th man in this rotation. He hasn't pitched at all in the postseason, but with the season-ending injury to Spencer Strider in Game 2, it's pretty fair to say the Braves are going to need Ynoa to step up, certainly today. And if they go to the World Series, they will need to utilize him a lot. Crawford hits it up the middle. Arcia looks to make the play, but he will not send a throw over to first. It's an infield single for J.P. Crawford, giving the Giants a base runner with 2 away. That'll bring up Munetaka Murakami, who of course was incredible in the series against Chicago. He's been all right so far here against Atlanta, but he rips this one into the opposite field for a base hit. 120 exit velo. My God. did he hit that ball hard. 2-1, 2 away. Garrett strikes out on the fastball as Huascar Ynoa gets through the inning, getting out of the jam. He lets up 2 base runners, and neither of them are able to score as we go into the second inning, and we'll see if either team can put themselves on the board here. That'll start with Adam Duvall. Count is even, 1-1, and Duvall gets a piece of this one into right. Lee chases after it. He will not make the play. One hop off the wall. Duvall into second safely with a double, and Atlanta has a runner in scoring position with 2 away. That'll bring up Zach McKinstry, the veteran utility infielder who's been great for Atlanta here this postseason. Hits it up the middle to short. J.P. Crawford makes the play, and the Giants get through the second. And I've got to comment, the fans tonight are loud. It's a packed house here at Oracle, and these fans are fired up in what's easily the biggest Giants baseball game in probably about a decade. Jonathan India checks swings on the slider. It's been a rough postseason for India. I think only 3 base hits up to this point. He's got to pick it up. Kyler Rodriguez has 3 less hits than India as he pops this one up into the infield. Arcia's under it. He will make the play. A 1-2-3 inning for Huascar Ynoa as neither team is on the board through 2. We'll see if that changes in inning number 3. Caden Polkovich, the center fielder, up for Atlanta, and he sends this one into right field. It's got some carry at the track, at the wall. It's off the wall. Lee plays it well, but it's a leadoff double for Caden Polkovich, who seems to be getting more and more comfortable as the regular center fielder with the injury to Michael Harris earlier in the year. That'll bring up Ozzie Albies, 3-2. Grounds it sharply to first. Kyler Rodriguez scoops it up, tags the base, but Polkovich advances to third. And if this ball is put seemingly well into play, Atlanta should be able to score the run. It's Orlando Arcia who had a base hit in his last at-bat, and he looks like he'll get another. Single into right. Polkovich scores, and the Braves are on the board. First, they lead it 1-0 with the single by Orlando Arcia, who's 2 for 2 tonight. So Atlanta gets the scoring started, and we'll see if Logan Webb can look to stop them from adding to the lead. Acuna chases the high and outside slider. That was not your pitch. Logan Webb completely fooled him. That slider has gotten a couple of these guys tonight, including Matt Olson earlier. 1-2, he swings way too early at the fastball. Webb strikes out a couple more, but Atlanta takes the lead with an RBI single from Orlando Arcia. We'll see if the offense can get it going here in the bottom of the third. So far, a pretty slow start. Only 2 hits up to this point. As Tommy Rogers is up with 1 away, the 18-year-old rookie behind 1-2 checks his swing. Umpire says he went around. Obviously, the plate discipline continues to be a concern for Tommy as he goes down on strikes. 1-1 for Jung-Hoo Lee. He sends this one into the left center gap. That should go for extra bases as it rolls to the wall. Lee into second with a 2-out double, and the Giants now have a runner in scoring position. We'll see if they can bring him home and look to tie the game. I think J.P. Crawford is the number 1 guy on this team you want up in this situation. We'll see if he can make a play. Already with a hit earlier today. Whoa, that was a close one. Slider that painted the corner of the zone. As you can see, that was a strike, but it was not called as such. 2-2 for J.P. Grounds it to first. Olsen picks it up. Over to Ynoa, and Atlanta gets out of the inning anyway. We were unable to take advantage of our lucky break, and it remains 1-0. Both pitchers, Ynoa in particular, has been really impressive thus far as we move into the fourth. Austin Riley leads it off for Atlanta behind 1-2. Swing and miss on the fastball. Riley has been night and day. He was excellent in the first couple of games where the Atlanta Braves obviously won, but over the last couple of games, not so much. Sean Murphy, the all-star catcher, looks at a full count, and he hits this one up the middle. It's a dribbler. Going to be a tough play for Crawford. Throw to first is in time. They got him. Good throw by J.P. Crawford there at short for the second out of the inning. Adam Duvall is up next. Doubled in his last at-bat behind 1-2. Got him looking on the slider. No shortage of strikeouts tonight for Logan Webb. That's not his game, but as you can see, he can go to it when needed. 4 innings of 1-run ball for Webb as we go bottom 4. Munetaka Murakami leads things off. Hits it well into right for a single. His first hit of the game went 120. This time, it only goes 115 miles per hour off the bat. He is hitting lasers so far. Blake Sabol is up now for the Giants, and he hits this one up the middle. This could be two, and it will. Inning-ending double play off the bat of Sabol, who did not start at catcher over each of the last two games. He did get a pinch hit opportunity in Game 4, which he took out of the park. And because of that, he returns to the lineup, not taking advantage of his opportunity there, and we move into the fifth. Zach McKinstry leads things off with a base hit into left. Didn't hit it overly hard, only 69. Nice. Off the bat, but it is a leadoff hit nonetheless, and that'll bring up Kaden Polkovich. Base hit and scored his last time up. Behind 1-2, and he goes down looking on the sinker. Another nice pitch for Logan Webb, his 8th K of the day, and it's backwards. 3-1 for Ozzie Albies, and he will draw a walk. As good of a player as Ozzie Albies is, he's been a liability for the Braves offensively here in the postseason. So walking him is certainly not ideal, but we know what he's capable of when he's in a groove. Arcia 2 for 2, drove in the lone run, grounds it to second. 4-6-3, inning-ending double play as the Giants get out of it after allowing a pair. So neither runner is able to score. It remains 1-0 as we go bottom 5. Jonathan India leads off. When are we going to get the big Jonathan India play this postseason? Unfortunately, it wasn't there. I will point out, he hit that pitch pretty well despite it being clearly outside of the zone. Shouldn't have swung, but he hit it hard, but it was still caught. Zach DeZenzo goes down looking on the fastball. Inoa through 5 as DeZenzo has cooled off after a hot start offensively in the postseason. And the Giants have used him pretty much every game against Atlanta, really showing their trust in DeZenzo. He hasn't entirely paid it forward offensively. Into the 6th, Acuna into left, and it is caught by Garrett. I don't know if he needed to do the extra dive, but hey, that makes it look a little bit cooler. Aura points for Stone Garrett. Matt Olson now 3-2, draws a walk. The pitch count for Logan Webb is getting quite high. And with him pitching a lot in the first game and with one less day of rest, we're going to have to take him out. We don't want to kill his arm, and I do fear if he stays in the games, things could get ugly. So that'll do it for Logan Webb's night. 5 1/3, only allowing 1 run. Really strong start from Logan Webb, but unfortunately, for a second start in a row, he's gotten no run support. James Karinchak comes out of the bullpen looking to keep the lead at 1. We cannot let the Braves add to this lead. We need all the runs we can get, given the offensive struggles that our team has had in this series thus far. Austin Riley is going to be Karinchak's first victim, 1-1. Lines it into center. That one goes for a hit. Runner will make it to third, and all of a sudden, the Braves got themselves in a nice spot. Runners on the corners with the single from Austin Riley, looking to get back into a rhythm after his struggles over the last couple of games. 3-2 for Murphy, swinging a miss on the knuckle curve. Big strikeout for Karinchak, and now we'll see if he can get out of the frame with probably the biggest at-bat of the game so far. 2-2 for Duvall, swinging a miss on the fastball. Karinchak gets through the 6th, and it remains 1-0 Atlanta. Bottom 6, top of the order up for the Giants. We'll start with Tommy Rogers, 3-2. Rogers belts it up the middle for a base hit. Tommy Rogers continues to put me in awe. We've obviously seen his weaknesses. He's an 18-year-old kid, but his strengths are special. And if he does put it all together, he literally could be Mike Trout. What a scoop, though, at first from Olsen off the bat of Crawford for a double play. The fans were chanting JP's name very loudly before the at-bat, too, so it's kind of unfortunate that's what it turned into. He hit it well, but Olsen made a great play as we move into the 7th. And Yel de Los Santos comes out of the bullpen for the Giants. The last time we saw him, Game 2 in Atlanta, where a double from Adam Duvall put them ahead in the 8th, and Atlanta's going to pick up where they left off. Zach McKinstry, splash shot into the cove, and the Braves lead it 2-0 with the solo homer by McKinstry, his first of the postseason. That one went a long way, 435 feet with an exit velo of 108.5. Slider up in the middle of the zone. De Los Santos clearly mislocated it, and that pitch goes into the cove. So Atlanta adds to the lead. We'll see if they can potentially look to do more damage as Ozzie Albies goes down on the circle change. Good rebuttal from De Los Santos, who looks to get out of the inning here against Orlando Arcia. 1-1. Arcia up the middle, playable ball for Crawford. Throw to first is in time, but not before Atlanta adds to the lead with a solo shot by Zach McKinstry. It's 2-0 going into the bottom of the 7th, and now our offense needs a little bit of urgency. No runs and only 5 hits up to this point, 2 of which are by this guy, Munetaka Murakami. 2-2. Hits this one high and deep and a left. Back at the track, at the wall, it is caught. I thought that one had enough carry. We needed that one to get over the fence. Close but no cigar for out number 1. Huascar Inoa, by the way, is still in the game, barely at 100 pitches, as Garrett belts this one into right center. Again, it's got carry, but Polkovich is under it for out number 2. The Giants are hitting the ball a little bit better, but it's not resulting in anything. Blake Seibold now, the 1-1. This one is hit like a rocket into center for a base knock. 108 off the bat. The Giants haven't hit it consistently hard, but when they do hit it hard, it is really hard. Pause. No diddy. So we know it's going to be taken out of the game after a brilliant performance. 6 2/3 scoreless innings. Hopefully we can add a 1 in the earned runs column, and that'll be dependent on what we see out of the bullpen from Sean Armstrong, who's thrown 2 scoreless innings so far in the postseason. Looking to get what would be a big out here with the tying run at the plate. And it's Jonathan India, who obviously has had a rough postseason, looking to shift the narrative, but he's behind 1-2, and he flies this one into right. It's got a little carry, but not much, and it will be caught by Acuna. Scoreless through 7. Still not getting much of anything from the offense. And hopefully the Braves don't find a way to add to their lead going into the 8th as they face off against the lefty, Genesis Cabrera, who hasn't been used a ton here in the postseason, just his 3rd outing. He's let up 1 run in 2 innings so far, so we'll see if he's able to keep the lead at 2 for San Francisco. He'll start with Acuna, who's had a rough day so far at the plate, 0 for 3, and he strikes out again. This time takes a high fastball, and it looks like he was a little late on that one. 2 away, 1-2 for Austin Riley. He chases the outside circle change as Genesis Cabrera retires the side, and it remains 2-0 as we go bottom 8. Will this be the inning where San Francisco gets something going? Elliot Ramos comes off the bench, and he delivers with a pinch hit single to open up the frame. The tying run now at the plate with nobody out. Top of the order's getting close here. We'll start with the 9-hitter, Liover Peguero, who comes in as a pinch hitter for DeZenzo. And Peguero, unlike Elliot Ramos, does not take advantage of his opportunity off the bench. Flies it shallow into the infield, and it's caught by Ozzie Albies for out number 1. Tommy Rogers up next, looking to break this game open. But he puts it right on the ground. This could be 2. Arcia, Albies, Olsen. No, Rogers is safe. The speedster is safe at first. And now the Giants have a decision to make with Rogers. Do you have him try to steal second, put yourself in a closer position to get that run in? Aaron Bummer will come out of the bullpen here for Atlanta. I'm a little bit surprised by this, given how good Jung-Hoo Lee is against lefties as he puts it on the ground. Rogers was going for second, but it's not going to matter as it's a ground out to short, and Atlanta gets out of the inning. It remains 2-0 as we go into the 9th. Yariel Rodriguez will come out of the bullpen here for the Giants, his 2nd postseason outing. Scoreless frame his last time around, and he's hoping for similar success here. The Giants know they cannot let this lead for Atlanta get any bigger. But Adam Duvall has other plans with 1 away here in the 9th. Lofts it into left. That ball is gone. And the Braves lead it 3-0. Duvall with his first home run of the postseason. The lead is getting a little bit bigger over the last couple of innings with a pair of solo shots for Atlanta, and they are now in very comfortable position, up by 3, with the Giants' offense showing no signs of life. Caden Polkovich up next, 2 away. Flies it into left center. Rogers chases after it. He will make the play, but the Braves add another run with the homer by Duvall as we go bottom 9. It's closing time for Penn Murphy, who got saves in games 1 and 2. This year's National League Reliever of the Year looks for another one. And what we saw in those first 2 games is that his movement is unbelievable. I mean, what are you supposed to do there? That pitch looked like it was going to be right down the middle, and it was closer to Crawford than it was the strike zone. Murakami's got a few hits today looking for another. This one into left. That one's going to drop, and it looks like it'll be extra bases as Munetaka Murakami is into scoring position with a one-out double. Okay, there's something. Just got to stack some base runners here, as that will bring us to Stone Garrett. 0 for 3 today. Lines this one into right. Acuna is under it. He'll make the play for out number 2. There is absolutely zero reason to tag up the runner given the situation, so we're going to leave him at second. Blake Sabol now. The game comes down to him, and he hits it high and deep into right center. At the track, at the wall, it is caught. And that'll do it. Atlanta wins this game 3-0. They take a 3-2 series lead and are 1 win away from advancing to the World Series. Overall, this 3-game homestand, if you will, wasn't entirely a flop. After being down 2-0, we knew the goal was to keep the series alive, and we did take 2 of 3, but we lost some of the momentum that we had coming into the day, and now Atlanta's just got to win 1 of 2 at home, and they're going back to the World Series, so we've got some work to do. It's certainly not going to be impossible, but if the offense plays like this, it certainly will be. Atlanta really didn't hit the ball that well up until the end of the game, but it didn't matter with how well Huascar Ynoa performed. The bullpen was great as well. Our offense just had nothing going. Munetaka Murakami had 3 hits. The rest of the team only had 5. Logan Webb was really good. He takes the loss, but it's really not his fault. 5 1/3 innings, only allowing 1 run. The offense didn't support him. The bullpen really didn't support him either. And we've got some work to do. Trailing 3-2 with Logan Webb not available for the rest of the series and our 3 best pitchers not available for Game 6. So realistically, it's got to be either Robbie Ray, Mason Miller, or a bullpen game. And the plan is we will roll with Mason Miller with the season on the line. This will be Miller's first career postseason start. He played quite a bit in Game 2 against Atlanta where he was awesome. 4 2/3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen, and a big reason why we were able to stay in the game. I trust him to start here, even though he probably is our worst starting pitcher. That more so speaks to how good this rotation is. For most teams, he'd be a number 2 or a number 3. But nonetheless, along with Miller, the other big story is going to be the offense. We need to hit the ball better, and unfortunately for us, we're going up against their ace, Dylan Cease, who we saw in Game 1 pitch. Again, one of the most impressive postseason performances by a starting pitcher really ever. 8 scoreless innings, he only let up 2 hits and struck out 15. Our lineup had no chance against him, and if we want to come back and win this game, have a chance to win this series, we cannot let that happen again, especially coming off another shutout in Game 5. So we're mixing up the lineup a little bit. Blake Sabol and Patrick Bailey are both playing. That's a rarity. Bailey behind the plate. Sabol will get the start at third as Dylan Cease makes his 3rd postseason start of the year. Took a loss in the NLDS against the Dodgers, but obviously was fantastic against us in Game 1. He started the series for Atlanta and looks to end it. Rogers leads the game off with a walk, something that the Giants did not do at all in Game 5. That pitch was very clearly a strike, though, as you can see. It didn't even hit the edge of the zone, but we'll take those. So Rogers is aboard. Jun-Hoo Lee puts it on the ground. It's bobbled by Riley, and they're only going to be able to get the 1 out at first, being how quick Rogers is to second. So we move him in scoring position now. A base hit will score him with no problem. 2 away for Murakami, who looks at the fastball, and Dylan Cease gets out of the inning after the early walk from Tommy Rogers. We had a chance there and we didn't come up big. We need to take advantage of our opportunities because we might not get many. Here's a look at Mason Miller, who was awesome in Game 2, out of the bullpen for the Giants, now getting the start. His leash will be as long as he's performing well. We are not going to handcuff him. If he's pitching well, we're going to keep him in the game as long as he's got energy, but he obviously has to perform. Ozzie Albies leading off once again, and he rips this one into the gap, likely for extra bases. Rogers gets to it quickly, but Albies is at second with a double, and already Atlanta with an early base runner. We cannot let these guys score and get ahead early. The last thing we need to do is try to play catch-up. Albies at third, 1 away for Ronald Acuna, who goes down on the cutter. Another strikeout from Acuna, who's been ice cold as of recent for the Braves. 2 away now for Matt Olson. 2-2 on its way, and Olson gets a piece of it. Into right, if it's fair, it's gone, and it is! 2-run shot for Olson. Atlanta on the board here in the first as they take a 2-0 lead. Exactly what we did not need to happen early in this ball game. So the Braves are ahead early. We'll see if they can add to their lead with Austin Riley. 2-2 from Miller, and he chases the slider in the dirt. But a successful inning for Atlanta as they get one over the fence with a 2-run shot from Matt Olson. And already, the Giants have some early damage control to do. Offense, we've got no time to waste. We've got to start now. Garrett swings and misses at the inside fastball. I think if he lets that pitch go, there's certainly a chance it goes for ball 4. But Cease plants it perfectly in the up inside corner. 3-2 for Heliot. Ramos singles this one in to right. Ramos getting the start has been pretty good overall throughout the postseason. Even though he's been more of a platoon player, I feel like he's performed well with opportunity. And if the Giants win this game, they're going to look to utilize him more and more. He won't score as Patrick Bailey goes down looking for strikeouts for Dylan Cease as it remains 2-0 going into the bottom of the second. Likewise, as I said with the offense needing to perform, Mason Miller has to as well. We cannot let Atlanta add to this lead early. As Murphy grounds it to third. And yes, Blake Sabol getting the start at the hot corner makes the play. The thing with Sabol is that he can play so many different positions. We mainly utilize him at catcher, but he can do a lot of different things. McKinstry bloops it into left for a hit, and he's thinking about 2, and he's safe. A 73-mile-an-hour double. But good base running from Zach McKinstry. He's in scoring position, but there's 2 away, and that brings up Caden Polkovich. Down the line and fair for a base hit. McKinstry rounding third, heads home, and there will be no play at the plate. He is safe easily. The Braves add to the lead. It's 3-0. Mason Miller's not looking like how he performed in Game 2, and that is not good news for the Giants. Albies lines it into center. Rogers is under it. He'll make the play, but Atlanta adds another run. Adding to the lead, it's 3-0, and that's even more damage control that we've got to make up. Leover Peguero goes down on the slider for the first out of the inning. Another punch out for Cease, as that will bring you up Tommy Rogers. He walked in his last at-bat, and did he go around? Umpire says no. Again, that pitch was in the strike zone, but they're not going to call it. 3-2 here for Tommy Rogers, and he draws another walk. I love seeing the plate discipline here for Rogers. It's been a weakness this year, but he's got 2 walks already. Any way we can get him on base, we will gladly take. 3-1 here for J.P. Crawford. This one is hit well into center. Polkovich tries to go for the big catch. He cannot. Rogers will score with no problem. Crawford rounding second. Headed to third. He's safe. It is an RBI triple for J.P. Crawford, and for the first time today, the Giants are on the board as it's 3-1. Munetaka Murakami looking to add to the lead. He's ahead 3-1, but he pops this one up. Could have been a great opportunity, but it will be caught here in the shallow outfield by Austin Riley. We can't really complain too much because we did score, and we haven't done that all day. I feel like we could have gotten more, but at least we got 1. Got to start somewhere. Bottom 3, Arcia leads it off for the Braves, and this one is hit well into left. Should go for extra bases as it bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. Mason Miller has gotten rocked tonight, and if he doesn't watch out, he's not going to stay in this game much longer. Riley up the middle with 2 away. Crawford makes the play. Throw to first is in time. Finally, a scoreless frame from Mason Miller, who does a good job getting out of the jam with the leadoff runner in scoring position. Retires Acuna, Olson, and Riley consecutively, and we move into the 4th. A base hit here for Stone Garrett. Thinks about 2, makes the turn, but wisely retreats to first. A leadoff single for Stone Garrett, and another base runner here for San Francisco. That'll bring up Heliot Ramos, and both of his at-bats today, he's gotten base hits. Looking for another, and he will as it gets by Albies. Garrett will hold it second, and the Giants get the first 2 runners aboard. The offense finally looks, dare I say, pretty good against Dylan Cease. Blake Sabol, he wanted that pitch right down the middle, 74 miles an hour, but he got a little excited, swinging early for strike 2. Puts this one on the ground. This should be 2, and it will. What an opportunity for Blake Sabol. Wasted away. He was given a meatball, and then grounds into a double play the very next pitch. We do have a runner at third now for Patrick Bailey, 3-1. Into left. That one's going to drop, and it's a 1-run game. An RBI single for Patrick Bailey, who's now driven in 6 runs this postseason, despite being primarily used as the backup. And with that, it's 3-2. The Giants are fully back in this game. Peguero pops it up. Olsen is under it, and he will wave everybody off as he makes the catch. With the 2 leadoff runners aboard, I would have liked to have gotten more than 1, but again, we can't complain too much, being that we did drive in 1, and it's only a 1-run game. Adam Duvall, full count, 1 away, draws a walk. Another base runner here for Atlanta. The bullpen active for San Francisco, but they're hoping Miller can get out at the jam here. McKinstry draws a walk on the inside slider. 2 aboard here for Atlanta. Miller stays in the game against Albies, who swings and misses at the circle change. Good job there by Mason Miller to get out of the jam, and the lead remains at 1. 3-2. As we move into the 5th inning, it's anybody's game, with the Giants' offense performing well over the last couple of innings. So we will start things off with the top of the order. Tommy Rogers with a pair of walks today. Hits this one well into left. It's got some carry at the wall. It's gone! And this game is tied at 3. Tommy Rogers with his 3rd home run of the postseason gets a hanging pitch up and away, and he crushes it. Dylan Cease has had some good pitches today, but he's also mislocated some off-speed stuff, and the Giants finally take advantage. Rogers did swing a little bit early. He got a little excited, but that was such an easy pitch to hit, and Rogers has such good exit velo off the bat that he still hits at 111 miles an hour, and it still carries over the fence to tie this game at 3, and Dylan Cease will be yanked after just 4 innings. He did not have his best stuff today. The Giants taking advantage, and Dylan Cease's night is over. Atlanta will go to the bullpen, and it'll be Bryce Elder who pitches now for the Braves. He has an ERA of 81. Shout out Megatron here in the postseason, with recording 1 out and allowing 3 earned runs. Not ideal, but it could be worse. Fernando Molina with us has an ERA of 108, having allowed 4 runs and 1 out. J.P. Crawford up the middle with a single. Crawford drove in a run his last time up, and he gets his 2nd hit of the night. The offense continuing to look really strong. Murakami up the middle. Base hit as it splits Albies and Arcia. Crawford digs for 3rd. He is safe. The aggressive base running pays off, and if this ball is hit well, they could take the lead. Ramos pops it up with 2 away. It looks like it'll be caught by Olsen. So again, the Giants leave 2 runners aboard. They leave some meat on the bone, but they get a run with the solo shot by Rogers. San Francisco goes to the bullpen. Mason Miller's night is over after 4. He'll be replaced by Michael Kopech. The Giants are hoping for a couple innings out of him, but they're going to be aggressive. If he struggles, he'll be taken out quickly. Arcia to left. It's caught! What a catch by Stone Garrett for the first out of the inning. His 2nd consecutive night with a highlight catch. This one a little bit more impressive than the one in Game 5. Wow, he laid out and still makes the play. Olsen with 2 away, full count, rips this one into right center, and this one will roll to the wall. Should go for extras. Jung-Hoo Lee after it quickly, but Olsen's in scoring position with a 2-out double, and Atlanta has an opportunity to get this lead back. You can't see me, says Matt Olsen. Boston Riley, full count, 2 away. Got him looking on the high circle change, and he is pissed. Does not like the call at all, with some words for the umpire as Kopech gets out of the inning, still tied at 3. The Giants have scored in 3 consecutive innings, while the Braves have not scored in each of the last 3 innings. Jonathan India off the bench here in the 6th. Check swings at a pitch at his feet. We wanted to give India an opportunity in this game, even though he's struggling. We know he's one of our 9 best hitters, but his postseason woes continue. Bottom 6, Duvall base hit into left. Kopech, as you can see, still in the game. His leash is getting shorter, but I like what I've seen from him so far today. We're going to roll with him for a little while longer. McKinstry, 3-1, puts it on the ground. This should be 2. India, Crawford to first. No, he's safe. Good hustle by Zach McKinstry, keeping the inning alive. Caden Polkovich drove him in earlier, And he will not do so again. He goes down in the low circle change. 2 scoreless for Kopech. A pair of nice innings for him out of the pen as we go to the 7th. It's been a really productive day for Tommy Rogers, and he walks again. His 3rd of the night. I'm going to assume that's a career high, as Jun-Hoo Lee immediately puts it on the ground. Not ideal. The Braves will get 2. It's a 5-4-3 double play. That's the last thing the Giants needed to happen. With Rogers getting on base again, they had to capitalize, but unfortunately they're unable to, with the best hitter on this team coming up short. 2 away now for Crawford. He's got a pair of hits tonight, looking for a 3rd. Hits it well to second, 104 off the bat. But Ozzie Albies is at the right place at the right time and makes a nice play. So we're still tied at 3 going into the bottom of the 7th. Bullpen's got to be clutch. We've pitched really well since the 2nd inning, but can we keep it going? James Karinchak out of the pen here for the Giants. He's thrown 2 1/3 scoreless so far here in the postseason as he starts with the top of the order. Ozzie Albies 1 for 3. Swinging and miss on the fastball. Nice pitch by Karinchak for the first out of the inning. That'll bring us to Ronald Acuna. 2 away in a full count. Acuna in this episode has been useless for the Braves. Looking to finally get a hit, and he will not as it's caught by Jun-Hoo Lee. And as we move into the 8th, this game is tied at 3. Our season may very well come down to these next 2 innings. Let's see if we can keep this series alive and bring it to 7. Murakami leads off the 8th. Then he goes down looking on the sinker. Great pitch by Bryce Elder, who has been brilliant on the mound for Atlanta. 3 2/3 scoreless innings so far as he faces off against Ramos, who's ahead 3-1. He draws a walk. Really strong day for Ramos as he reaches base for a 3rd time tonight. The potential go-ahead run is aboard for Blake Sabol. 2-2, 2 away. This one is hit high and fairly deep in the left, but it looks like this one will be caught, and it is. So Atlanta gets through the top of the 8th. Game is still tied, and we will go to the bottom of the 8th as it'll be a familiar face for the Braves coming out of the bullpen. The lefty, A.J. Minter, who's been quiet over the last couple of days. We haven't needed him. His arm is well rested. We'll see what he can do. 2 1/3 scoreless with a strikeout rate of above 57% here in the postseason as he starts with lefty on lefty. Matt Olson crushes it into right! Lee can only watch it fly! That ball is long gone, and Atlanta leads it 4-3. Matt Olson sends that ball 437 feet, his 2nd home run of the night, and it could not have come at a better time. The Braves all of a sudden in control here in Game 6 with a solo shot for Olson to lead off the 8th. Part of the reason why we wanted A.J. Minter right now is because of the matchup with Olson. He hits lefties fairly well compared to other lefties, but I still felt like we could exploit the matchup a little bit and make Olson a little bit worse. But the plan obviously backfired. That was a no-doubter as soon as it touched the bat. I think everybody in this stadium knew that ball was not only going in the seats, but going in the second deck. So Atlanta now has the lead, and we cannot let them grow the lead anymore. 1 run is already enough to come back from. Riley grounds it to 3rd. Sabol makes the play for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the 6-hitter, Sean Murphy. Count is even 1-1. Murphy lines it into center for a hit. So Atlanta gets another runner aboard here. If they take a 2 or even more than that run lead, they'll be feeling really good going into the top of the 9th inning as that brings up Adam Duvall, who's had some big hits for Atlanta throughout the duration of this series. Had the late home run in Game 5. The big double in Game 2, but he goes down looking on the circle change. Huge pitch by Minter, who now faces off against Zach McKinstry, who's been an unsung hero in this entire series for Atlanta. 3-2, 2 away. This one is blooped into right, and it goes for a hit. The runner makes it to 3rd, Murphy, and now we've got a pair on the corners. If Caden Polkovich gets a big hit here, this game could be over. And with A.J. Minter's struggles, we're not going to keep him in the game. We will go back to another lefty, though, Genesis Cabrera, who threw a scoreless frame in Game 5, and we need him to get what is our biggest out of the entire year, of the entire franchise so far. Polkovich absolutely cannot get a base hit, as it's weakly dribbled to 3rd. Sabol with the play, throw to 1st is in time. So the Braves lead 2 aboard, but still a great inning for them with the home run by Olson. They are up by 1 going into the 9th inning. We have to score in this inning or else our season is over. And unfortunately for us, we've got to face off against Penn Murphy, who we have had no success with up to this point. We've got the bottom of the order due up as well, 8-9-1. So it's certainly a peculiar spot to be in. It'll be interesting if we do potentially look towards the bench. We are going to keep Patrick Bailey in. He's been so good throughout the postseason. I trust him. 1-2. Liner to third, but the shift plays out in Atlanta's favor as Riley's there for out number 1, and our season comes down to 2 more outs. We're going to keep Jonathan India in the game. He's been bad, but I don't really see another choice as he dribbles it on the ground. Riley makes the play. Throw to first is in time. There's 2. And now our season comes down to 18-year-old Tommy Rogers, who has been incredible in this game. He has reached base every time he's been up with a homer and 3 walks. We need him to get on base, and if he does reach, who better than Tommy Rogers to be the game-tying run? The 1-1. Rogers hits it high and fairly deep into right center. Ronald Acuna is under it, and the Braves are going back to the World Series as they defeat the Giants 4-3. A go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th for Matt Olson, followed by a 1-2-3 top of the 9th from Penn Murphy. Never a doubt, as the Braves are headed back to the Fall Classic for the first time in 5 years. And with that, our season in San Francisco comes to a close. We obviously had big goals here this year, and we had a tremendous season, winning 100 games, making it to the NLCS. But unfortunately, that's where the journey ends here in Season 3. This Atlanta team was a little too good. The offense was a little too inconsistent, and the Braves made a few too many clutch hits to wrap up our season. And while it has been a largely successful year 3, this one is still certainly going to sting. We had opportunities, particularly in this game, only losing by 1. We had a number of guys perform well, but we had a number of guys who also struggled for us in this game and are a big reason why we ended up losing. Gotta shout out Tommy Rogers. Yes, he had the final out, but he was awesome today. The plate discipline, of course, the home run in the 5th. J.P. Crawford had a good game. Ramos had a good game, but everybody else was pretty quiet. We needed more from the rest of the team, and we didn't get it. Mason Miller struggled early, allowed 3 runs in the first 2 innings, but I give him credit for rebounding. And after the 2nd inning, we only allowed 1 run. Problem is, that ended up being the winning run from Matt Olson, who was the best player on the field today. 3 for 4, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. And even when Dylan Cease did not have his best stuff, it didn't matter because the bullpen, Bryce Elder, was unbelievable. And their offense made plays when they needed to. So Season 3 comes to a close. Atlanta's going to the World Series, and our year wraps up in the NLCS. Again, it was a very successful season for us. But now going into the offseason, we're going to have some big decisions to make because this is an older roster. We've got a lot of guys who are not under contract for next year, including numerous starters on offense. J.P. Crawford is a free agent. Jonathan India is a free agent. Jorge Soler, who's obviously been hurt throughout the entire playoffs, is also a free agent. In the pitching rotation, Robbie Ray is not under contract. And then the bullpen, everybody is a free agent other than Camilo Doval and Yariel Rodriguez. So we could have a very different pen next year with Karinchak, Cabrera, Kopech, Minter, and De Los Santos not under contract, and Fernando Molina most likely not sticking in the bullpen and potentially transitioning into a starter as early as this next year. Again, it was a really successful year, winning 100 games, winning a playoff series, and giving Atlanta a run for their money. But we've got to go back to the drawing board here in the offseason. We now have the core with the successful rookie seasons for Rogers and Murakami. But now we've got to find the surrounding pieces. Will we need to make another splash, or do we try to fill out this roster and continue to build around our stars for Season 4? Let me know what you think we should do down below in the comments for this upcoming offseason. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.